Have you ever felt like your organization is just a giant puzzle, but none of the pieces seem to fit together right? Well, today we're going to talk about a really powerful idea called the system view. It's all about stepping back and seeing that entire picture, not just the little individual pieces. And honestly, it might just change the way you see your whole workplace.
Oh man, this one hits home, right? It's that classic problem. Projects get stuck, communication just completely breaks down, and it really feels like everyone's just off in their own little bubble. But here's the thing, this isn't just bad luck. It's actually a direct result of how we're taught to look at our organizations.
You see, the root of this whole issue is what's called a fragmented view. This is the old school, traditional way of seeing a company, not as one complete thing, but as a bunch of separate, totally disconnected parts. So, take a look at this. On the left, you've got that fragmented view. It's just a list of departments, right? Sales, engineering, marketing, all kind of doing their own thing. But the system view on the right, that shows you what's really going on. These aren't isolated silos. They're all part of a single, deeply connected web. And this really gets to the heart of it. An organization's real power, its true value, it's not just sitting inside each department. Nope. It's in the connections between them. That's where the magic, the synergy really happens. Okay, so let's get a really clear definition of what we're talking about with this powerful concept. What does it actually mean to see the unified whole?
At its core, the system view is a mental shift. It's about a whole new perspective. We just stop seeing the company as this random collection of people and teams, and we start seeing it as a single, living, complete entity where every single part affects every other part. So if everything's connected, let's look a little closer at those interconnections. How do all these different pieces actually manage to work together to get anything done? So a key term you need to know here is subsystems. Think of your department, or even just your team, as a subsystem. Yeah, it has its own job to do, for sure, but it's also fundamentally interdependent. It relies on other subsystems, and you better believe they rely on it too. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is operating in a vacuum here. Here's a super simple, real-world example. Let's say the design team comes up with a brilliant new feature. Awesome. But you know what? That feature is basically useless if the marketing team doesn't tell the world about it, and both of their efforts are going to completely fall flat if the support team isn't trained up and ready to help customers. See? Each team is its own little unit, but their success is completely 100% interdependent. But these connections, they don't just stop at the company's front door. A huge, crucial part of the system view is realizing that no organization is an island. It's deeply, deeply connected to the entire world around it. And that brings us to the difference between a closed and an open system. A closed system, well, it's like a sealed box. It's totally isolated. But modern organizations, they're open systems. They are constantly in this dynamic dance with their environment, taking in resources and information and putting out products and services. And that environment, that outside world, includes everything. We're talking about the physical location, social trends, cultural values, and of course, all the laws and regulations. An open system has to be aware of and responsive to all of these external forces if it wants to survive, let alone thrive. Okay, this is all very interesting in theory, right? But what does it actually mean for you and your day-to-day work? How does this become a practical, useful tool for anyone in charge of a team? Let's be really clear here. The system view isn't just some academic concept to think about. It's a lens. It's a tool that changes how you make decisions, how you solve problems, and how you lead your team. It is a powerful, practical tool for success. You know, when you start using this view, you get some serious advantages. You can start to anticipate the ripple effects of any decision, like how a tiny change in one department is going to impact others across the whole organization. You start asking different questions in meetings, like, okay, if we do this, who else does this affect? You start to foster real collaboration because now everyone gets how their work fits into the bigger picture. And all of this makes your organization way more adaptable and, in the long run, way more sustainable. So, I'll leave you with a little challenge. Next time you're at work, try to look at your own workplace through this new lens. Ask yourself, what's one hidden connection? Maybe it's between teams or between processes or even between your company and the outside world that nobody else seems to be seeing. Because finding that connection, well, that might just be the key to unlocking your organization's true potential. Thanks for tuning in.